Ever wondered what would happen if the emperor of mankind woke up and saw what his imperium has become? I bet his first reaction would be pure, unadulterated fury, and the first people on his list would be the leaders of the ecclesiarchy, the state church of the imperium. Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy corridors of power on Terra, exploring the rotten politics of the Adeptus Ministorum and how they twisted the emperor's dream into a nightmare. Let's rewind the clock 10,000 years. The emperor championed the imperial truth, a secular, rational ideology. He knew the dangers of religion, how it could be twisted by the dark gods of chaos. He spent his life fighting to free humanity from the shackles of faith and superstition. And yet, what do we have in the 41st millennium? A galaxy-spanning theocracy that worships him as a god, a practice he explicitly forbade. How did this happen? The answer lies in a story of betrayal, ambition, and political maneuvering that would make any High Lord of Terra blush. After the Horus heresy, the imperium was a wreck. The emperor was interred on the golden throne, a silent, dying god. In this power vacuum, a new creed began to spread, one that worshipped the emperor as the divine savior of humanity. This wasn't some grassroots movement. It was carefully cultivated. Initially banned, the Temple of the Savior, Emperor, as it was known, grew in secret. Its message of faith and devotion resonated with a populace terrified by the horrors of the galaxy. The turning point came with a man named Goj Vandir. During a period of intense civil strife known as the Age of Apostasy, Vandir, a master manipulator, simultaneously held the positions of High Lord of the Administratum and Ecclesiarchy. This gave him unprecedented control over both the temporal and spiritual arms of the Imperium. He was a tyrant, a madman who plunged the Imperium into centuries of bloodshed and terror. His reign was so horrific that it is a stark reminder of what happens when absolute power is concentrated in the hands of one man fueled by religious fervor. Vandir's reign was eventually ended by a coalition that included the Adeptus Custodes and the newly formed Sisters of Battle. But the damage was done. The Ecclesiarchy was here to stay. And this brings us to the High Lords of Terra. You'd think they would want to curb the Ministorum's power, right? Wrong. The Ecclesiarchy provides something invaluable: control. By promoting ignorance and blind faith, they create a population of fanatics, ready to die for the emperor without question. This is incredibly useful for the High Lords. Imagine you're trying to rule a million worlds, constantly besieged by aliens and heretics. An obedient, zealous population is a powerful weapon. The Ecclesiarchy preaches that suffering is a virtue, that questioning authority is heresy, and that the only truth is the one handed down by the Ministorum. This keeps the masses in line. They toil in manufactorums, fight in endless wars, and pay their bits, all in the name of a god they've never seen, based on words they're not allowed to question. It's the ultimate system of social control. The High Lords see this and, rather than dismantle it, they prop it up. It makes their job of governing the sprawling, chaotic Imperium infinitely easier. So, the High Lords and the Ecclesiarchy are locked in a symbiotic, corrupt relationship. The Ecclesiarchy gets to amass incredible wealth and influence, building grand cathedrals and commanding armies of faithful soldiers. In return, the High Lords get a docile population that won't rock the boat. They effectively trade the Emperor's dream of an enlightened humanity for stability and control. It's a pragmatic, cynical choice, but from their perspective, it's a necessary one. They believe they're holding the Imperium together, even if it means betraying the very principles of its founder. This betrayal is at the heart of the Imperium's tragedy. The Emperor wanted humanity to be strong through reason and knowledge. Instead, the Ecclesiarchy has made them strong through ignorance and fanaticism. They've turned the Imperium into a mirror image of the very forces the Emperor fought against. The irony is staggering. The institution that claims to speak for the Emperor is the one that has most thoroughly desecrated his legacy. The internal politics are a snake pit. Cardinals and bishops vie for power, using assassinations, blackmail, and political intrigue to climb the ladder. They preach piety and humility while living in opulent palaces. They demand sacrifice from the masses while hoarding immense wealth. The entire structure is built on a foundation of lies, a grand conspiracy to maintain power. They edit history, burn books, and execute anyone who dares to seek out the real truth of the Emperor's teachings. Think about the Imperial Guard. Millions of soldiers are sent into battle with little more than a lasgun and a prayer book. The priests of the Ministorum marched alongside them, chanting litanies and promising them a place at the Emperor's side. This faith is what gives them the courage to charge into the jaws of a tyrannid horde or a world-eater's warband. It's a powerful tool, but it's a tool forged from ignorance. Those soldiers die believing they are serving the Emperor's will, when in reality they are serving the political ambitions of the Ecclesiarch and the High Lords. Even within the Ecclesiarchy there are factions. Some are genuine believers, truly pious individuals who want to protect humanity. Others are corrupt powermongers. These factions are constantly at war with each other, creating schisms and heresies that can tear entire sectors apart. The history of the Ministorum is filled with internal conflicts, holy wars fought not against aliens, but against other factions of their own church over minor points of doctrine. It's a chaotic, self-destructive system held together only by its sheer size and the unshakable faith of its followers. So, If the emperor were to return, he wouldn't see his glorious dream realized. He would see an imperium ruled by fear, superstition, and ignorance. He would see high lords who betrayed his vision for an easier path, and a church that has twisted his name into a symbol of oppression. He would see that his greatest enemy wasn't Horus or the chaos gods, but the very people who claim to be his most devout followers. The politics of the ecclesiarchy are more than just backroom deals. They are the rot at the core of the imperium, a constant, festering wound that prevents humanity from ever truly achieving the future the emperor envisioned for it. What do you think? Is the ecclesiarchy a necessary evil or the imperium's greatest mistake? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the grim darkness of the far future, be sure to like and subscribe for more.